Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are FC.
Royals baseball, it's a hot mid-afternoon first pitch today as the Royals continue their four-game series with the Seattle Mariners. The series is tied at 1 game apiece. Royals baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Hi everyone, welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre. You know, it's very interesting. The Royals right now are not firing on all cylinders, but it seems like last year and in 2014 and in 2013, the Royals could play without firing in all cylinders and they would still win because one facet would pick up the other. This year, for some reason, it's just not working.
It's not. Now, all facets mean good starting pitching, timely hits, and defense. And when you get those going consistently, you win games, no doubt about it. But when they're not, one side's got to pick up the other. Recently, it's been the pitching has been good here in the last 6 games. But now the offense is swinging at everything. They're going to have to compete in the at-bats. They've got to figure out a way to stay out of these double plays, not trying to pull pitches that are outside. Now, it's very difficult at times for sure when you're facing quality pitching every night. But the Royals can do it. They can find a way. Be a little more patient, a little more selective, but these pitches out of the zone, they're trying to do way too much, and it ain't working.
Edinson Volquez will try to continue that good recent pitching, and when we come back, we'll talk about the winning formula of Edinson Volquez pitching at Kauffman Stadium. Record at home in the major leagues. How does that compare to Royals history? Here's our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard. The Royals are 28-12 after 40 home games this year. A victory today, and they could tie the 1976 Royals for the second best through 41 games. And their chances are pretty good with Edinson Volquez taking the mound. Edinson has made 26 starts at Kauffman Stadium in the last 2 years. The Royals have won 19 of them.
He absolutely loves it. And in a sport where 500 rules in this game, anytime you're over 500 like that with those kind of records, that means you're doing something. That gives the offense energy coming to the park, the position players saying, okay, we're going to win today.
When we come back, Jeff Montgomery, Joel Goldberg will talk about Volquez's success with his changeup, and in particular, his last 2 starts.
Edinson Volquez set to make his team leading 19th start of the season. Joel Goldberg, Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery. The last time Edinson Volquez pitched here at the K, gave up a career-high 12 runs, 11 earned in just 1 inning. Since then, though, Monty, a 2.84 ERA in his last 2 starts. How much, as we look at our Honda most trusted player, has the changeup meant to that?
The changeup's been key for Edinson Volquez. He'll throw it against left-handed batters, against right-handed batters. It's his best pitch, Joel. Opponents hitting only .207, 1 home run, and 35 strikeouts on the year for Edinson Volquez. So he's not afraid to go to that pitch, and the percentage is up. As a result, his success rate has been up as well.
Well, Eddie Volquez has never lost to the Seattle Mariners. Wade Miley, just like Hisashi Iwakuma, has been a problem for the Royals. We'll tell you why next. Game routine going. Nice moves there by Eric Hosmer and company. Paulo Orlando, Christian Colon, trying to do something they haven't been able to do much of in their history. Wade Miley has been a thorn in their side, 4-1 against them, Monty, but the lefty last 3 times against the Royals has allowed 1 run in 22 1/3, and an April 30th game in Seattle through a complete game, his first career shutout. Why is he such a problem?
Well, he's got solid stuff, not overpowering stuff. He's got an excellent changeup, and his ability to expand the strike zone. When he's able to command all of his pitches, he's very, very difficult. And in that particular game, he had everything working.
The last 2 pitchers to go 9 shutout against the Royals, Wade Miley in April and lefty Mike Montgomery last year. They face him tomorrow. Whoever it is, the Royals need to get these bats going. First pitch from Kauffman Stadium with Ryan and Hud coming up next.
Is brought to you by the Missouri Lottery. Every ticket you play gives back to schools across Missouri, so play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. By Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by your Midwest Ford dealers. Visit your MidwestFordDealers.com. 88 and muggy, and at the moment, Kauffman Stadium is being shaded by some clouds, so that takes some of the heat away at the moment, but the sun will be ducking in and out of the clouds today. A mid-afternoon first pitch, and Edinson Volquez, who's had great success as a Royal here at Kauffman Stadium, and going to try and get the Royals back on track. The Royals have lost 5 of their last 6 games. And going up against the Seattle Mariners, who are feeling pretty good. They've put an end to a 4-game losing streak altogether last night and a 10-game road losing streak.
Yeah, you know what? It's not easy. I can tell you that for sure. But with Volquez pitching and getting out of that first inning will be a key for him. He's good after the first. Overall this year in 15, he's allowed 15 runs in the first inning. So if he can shut these guys down here in the first, he'll settle in. The Royals defense presented by Ford. Look at the guys stepping up. That's right. These young players who have been biding their time in the minors, getting up there at bats and their experience. Cuthbert, Merrifield, Eibner, they've all contributed, and hopefully they'll continue a long way to go.
Leonis Martin will lead off against Volquez. Volquez has walked the first hitter in each of his last 2 starts. And today he starts up Martin with a strike. On Monday at Toronto, he walked the first 2 hitters of the game, which led to a run, and then was very good over the next 5 innings.
And you know, he got squeezed a little bit by the home plate umpire, but he's a veteran guy and it didn't rattle him. But this is annoying at times when you're hitting your spots and you're not getting the calls. I'm not making excuses for him, but that's the way it was. Sometimes getting squeezed is a part of the game. You got to go. Oh, did I say squeeze?
Did he get squeezed right there?
Oh, that 2-seam movement locks up left-handed batters. It starts in 4 inches off the plate and it ends up hitting the corner.
Sometimes it locks up the home plate umpire.
It does.
Foul tip. Did Salvi hang on? Yes. So how about a 4-pitch strikeout to begin the day for Volquez?
He struck him out twice, if you ask me. Now that's a good breaker. He's starting out good. That ball, that's the curve that starts out below the belt, ends up out of the zone. That's the one.
Talking to Ned Yost, who's been around the game as a long time as a player, a coach, and a manager, and talking about some of the things that pitchers have tried, pitching coaches have tried over the years to get a pitcher past trouble in the first inning. Fastball's in for a strike to Seth Smith. He was telling a story about when he was in Atlanta. As we look at Volquez pitch breakdown, John Smoltz used to really struggle in the first inning, and at one point they took a stationary bike out to the bullpen and had him ride the bike as he was warming up before the game, just to kind of wear him down. And not just wear him down, but maybe wear some of the nerves down.
Yeah, they've tried it all, believe me. But once you get out there between the lines and you start pitching, you can't tell when a hitter's in that box. It changes everything.
Christian Colon plays at second base and throws out Seth Smith.
And you know, Ryan, for that point, every pitcher in the history of the game that ever threw out in the bullpen never gave up a hit. So when you throw out in that bullpen, there's no hitter standing in there. There's a catcher. The pitching coach is standing behind you. But once you get out there and you're facing a big league hitter, man, he's going to turn that ball around if you make a mistake. So you take some time to figure out what's working. But so far in this one, in Volquez's 7 pitches, he's been awesome. All strikes but 1.
Two down to Robinson Cano. Off the end of the bat. Eibner was very deep, but he catches up to it. So today it's a 9-pitch 1-2-3 first inning for Edinson Volquez. Bottom of the first inning, Alex Gordon will get the day off. So Whit Merrifield leads off in left field. Christian Colon will bat second and play at second base. Fred Eibner's in right. Paulo Orlando will shift over to center field today. All to face 29-year-old left-hander Wade Miley. Now those numbers will tell you that he has a 5.36 ERA. The Royals, I'm sure, don't feel like they're facing a pitcher with a 5.36 ERA today.
No, especially since when they faced Miley April 30th. He threw his first career shutout. It was awesome, man, really. I mean, 9 innings, only 5 hits, no walks. It's the best performance of his career. Now it's a little bit different, and this is later in the season. But he keeps the hitters off balance. He throws a majority of changeups now. Fastball's going to average 90 miles an hour, but he's a little under that now. More changeups than ever, sliders and curves. That gives Royals fits usually.
Let's take a look at his pitch breakdown.
Talked about the changeup usage a lot more. It's up from last year, and that's the pitch there that really gets hitters' timings messed up, especially the Royals. They're a frenzy hitting offense. They're aggressive. They swing early. Pitchers like him give them fits. Let's see if they can discipline themselves to lay off of that pitch. Now, like Volquez, he's had issues in the first inning as well. He's allowed 14 runs in 15 innings in the first this year. An 8 ERA, so maybe this time is right. Get him before he settles in.
The Mariners were playing Merrifield to pull, so they left that right side wide open, and Whit singles to right field to begin the bottom of the first.
Well, you're doing Merrifield a favor if you're playing him to pull. He stays inside of the ball as well as any Royals hitter. And watch that bottom hand. See, the top hand follows, that bottom hand leads, and he just went with it. Great head position. That was a breaking ball, and that's how you teach it. Put that sliding guard on that left wrist, so when you slide, you don't jam your wrist. Some guys have a hard time throwing both hands in the air when they slide. That's how you're taught to do it. But that little pop-up slide, lots of guys like to put their wrist to their hand down to brace themselves.
Strike to Christian Colon, who appears in this series for the first time.
Colon's a guy that likes to use the opposite field. He's not up there trying to pull, so he's a good selection for Ned today in the 2-hole. Turned on that one, rolled it over.
Quick turn, quick hands by 2 guys on the infield there. Seager to get it to second, and Cano to get it to first. That is the 6th double play turned by the Mariners defense in this series.
Well, they've had a hard time saving runs, that's for sure. They're minus 26. That's 12th worst in the American League. Outfield not that fleet of foot. Smith and Cruz out there, they don't cover a lot of ground. Seager's solid third baseman. He's wore the Gold Glove. Cano over there at second. He's got a Gold Glove, a couple of them.
Ball 1 to Kendrys Morales. Those numbers continue to climb from the other side of the plate. He's been strong as a right-hand batter all year. And Morales gets his first hit of this series after hitting 5 home runs and driving in 9 during the road trip.
There's the changeup grip, and he'll throw those in fastball counts. But if it's up like that, very hittable. Miley has a quick tempo. He works really fast. He tries to rush the hitters. And he'll throw that changeup in fastball counts.
Here's our Kubota power stats, and this is one reason why Wade Miley has an ERA of 5.36. He's had a bad time with the run producers in the opposing lineup. Number 4 hitters have an OPS of over 1,300. Inside to Hosmer, 2 balls and no strikes. Those are the hitters that you need to shut down if you're going to have a good game.
That's usually your best run producers are in that 4-hole.
Hosmer is hitless so far in the series. And he's ahead in the count. 3 balls and no strikes.
It's because he's been swinging at those pitches the whole series. So they're going to continue to see if he'll do it. He's going to have to start taking some walks and get back in his game. That's how Morales got hot. Ball. That was ball 4. You want Salvi to come up in this situation here in the first. He rakes Miley's 5 for 9 with a homer. Take the walk if he's going to give it to you.
And now 3-2. The trick is Eric knows they're going to be pitching him inside, so he's got to be ready for that, and yet at the same time still know the difference between a ball and a strike.
He's had plenty of experience to know that. That's just called being over anxious and trying too much.
Tied him up, so Miley comes back after falling behind 3-0. The Royals get a couple of hits, but are scoreless in the bottom of the first. Cold water, fans. It is a hot one at Kauffman Stadium. You can cement your memories forever with a championship legacy brick. Create a personalized message that includes the 2015 World Series champions logo. Your brick will then be installed in the ground outside the stadium gates, and a portion of the proceeds go back to support Royals charities. Volquez got the Mariners 3 up, 3 down in the first inning. Nelson Cruz leads off, and Edenson's in there with a fastball. Cruz homered in Game 1 on Thursday night, his 23rd of the year, and that is the only home run for Seattle so far in this series. They have the second most home runs in the major leagues. 129 hit by Seattle. Only Baltimore has hit more. Swing and a foul off of Salvi's glove. Still no balls and 2 strikes. It has been an incredibly low scoring season series. The Royals and Mariners are averaging fewer than 5 runs per game. Not each of them, but the 2 of them combined are averaging 4.8 runs per game. 24 runs scored total in the first 5 games.
And I'm not going to blame hitters for that. I'm going to say the pitching was that good.
Backhanded by Cuthbert from the outfield grass, and he throws a strike to Hosmer. And he didn't even look like he was muscling up to get that throw across the diamond.
No, and you know, not only is he's quick, he's got soft hands, but he also knows his opponents. He knows who's running. Nelson Cruz is not going to beat the ball out, so he took his time, didn't take a crow hop, but he's comfortable, obviously throwing flat-footed on his back heel, and gosh, he's got plenty of arm for that. It's fun to watch him play.
And now the Mariners' third baseman, Kyle Seager, and he takes a breaking ball for a strike. Here's one of the most complete third basemen in the major leagues.
And one of the best players, in my opinion, all around in the major leagues. Both leagues. Consistent, plays hard, and can rake. That's going to stay in.
And again, Eibner's first steps were back, and now he descends on the ball to make the play on Seager. Did the same thing on the fly ball at the bat of Cano in the first inning.
Just a reminder as you enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller Time later in today's game. Brought to you by Miller Lite. Yep, it's difficult for hitters in the outfield on day games and night games especially, but still to read the swings of power hitters. Because you're automatically thinking the guy's going to hit one deep, and when you don't get it on the sweet part, you got to really come in. And Eibner's got good athletic ability and has pretty good speed. He's able to recover for that mistake he's made out there, just on the first step back.
0-1 on Dae-Ho Lee.
I shouldn't call that a mistake. It was not a mistake. It's just a tough read.
Late read.
Right.
Shattered bat, and Colon goes to get it, and Volquez has another quick inning. 8 pitches in a 1-2-3 second. Salvador Perez will lead off against Wade Miley in the bottom of the second inning. Salvi had a walk-off on Thursday, a home run in the 9th inning last night, and then Yellowwood is bringing the lumber, and this takes us back 2 seasons ago. Salvi against Wade Miley in Arizona.
Oh man, I hope Salvi sees that one again. He brought the lumber. And you know, Miley and Salvador Perez, remember that home run? They never forget.
2 balls and no strikes. 5 out of 9 altogether. 3-0.
Salvi got back 3 hits in the first night, game winner. Now look at him. He's selective and patient. He's not aggressive and over anxious. He's waiting for his pitch.
3-2.
Remember, change-ups and fastball situations here. 3-2 is the count where most pitchers are going to come in, especially early in the game. Let's see if he goes with a change-up. Oh, state heater.
So what's it take to get you to get my money?
Gonna need those today. Little bit of a breeze, which will move some of that hot, humid air around. Today is the day, maybe we can find him. Today's the day that somebody will decide is the day to work on their tan for the first time all summer.
Oh, I hope
and
not.
the shirt comes off, and you can just watch them all day as they go from, there we go, pale to pink to red to purple.
Then to blisters tonight. Salvi takes a walk. The race is on for walks between his good buddy Escobar and Salvi. They're both neck and neck. Salvi's 13th walk. Escobar has 13.
Paulo carried an 0 for 17 into the series, and he's 4 for 7 in the first 2 games with a couple of runs batted in. Salvi won the game in the 9th inning on Thursday, but Paulo Orlando helped set that up with a big 2-out 2-run single in the 8th. Thinking about bunting for a base hit, and takes a strike.
Paulo 333 against lefties.
That looked more like a sacrifice.
Yeah, he didn't come running out of the box. He kind of just tried to deaden it a little bit too fine. But if he pushes that ball to just 5 feet off the line, it means that first baseman Lynn's got to come and get it, and with his speed he walks into first. But off Miley, hitting's good. He's going to give you something. Drive one. Score Salvi from first on a gapper.
Checked his swing. Maybe the Royals are a little spooked right now with all the double plays, trying to avoid hitting into a double play, and Paulo thinking about a sac bunt in the 2nd inning.
Well, if that's on your mind, you have to look for pitches middle away and go away. You can't try to pull them. If that's on their mind, stay inside that ball and shoot it to the opposite field.
If you go back to Tuesday, Hud, in the Royals' last 37 innings at the plate, they've hit into 9 double plays and have scored 11 runs. So double plays have snuffed out several potential rallies. And he committed. So Paulo trying to bunt with 2 strikes. Had an attempt and he missed. That's something you're more accustomed to seeing in maybe the 8th or the 9th inning when you're looking at the winning run late in the game.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And that's, you know, I can't explain that one, Ryan. Especially early on, you want to be hacking. And if you're going to bunt with 2 strikes, you got to bunt a strike.
You know, the season he's had, I don't care what the situation is. I want to see Paulo swing the bat.
Yep, I agree.
Eibner hits it to the gap in left center field. Smith cuts it off, but Salvador Perez will go to 3rd, and Eibner is into second base with a double. So Eibner helps pick up Paulo Orlando, and the Royals have 2 in scoring position with 1 out.
6th double already for Eibner. He's early hacking, trying to get Miley before he gets him. Ball almost got by Seth. If it does, then is able to score Salvi. Seth Smith out there did a good job of cutting that ball off. Eibner will take the double now. Let's see if Escobar can keep the line moving here.
One for 5 in the series. Still has that 24-game streak of reaching base. Longest of his career. It's the longest active streak in the big leagues.
Eske 247 with runners in scoring position. Think opposite field. React in. There you go. Good swing. Stayed in it. Outfield arms aren't too shabby. Nelson Cruz in right. He has a couple outfield assists. Decent arm. Seth Smith in left has 3. And Martin in center has 7. Strong arm. He could throw you out on a medium fly ball. Especially Salvador Perez.
We began tonight talking about the Royals overswinging and being too aggressive.
Right.
They have been the opposite of that so far against Miley in the first 2 innings. There have been several borderline pitches that the Royals have laid off. Escobar got a pitch up and fouled it into the crowd off to the right field side. I think Miley, drawing upon his experience against the Royals in the past, and you mentioned his shutout against the Royals in Seattle, he's thrown a lot of pitches on the corners, just out of the strike zone down, and I think the Royals were swinging at those pitches back in April.
They were.
Not today.
Got to wait him out.
On the ground is Seager. He bobbles, so they get the out. The Royals get the run. Seager was going to come to the plate. So Escobar gets an RBI. The leadoff walk to Salvador Perez leads to a run.
Seager's not happy about that. He knew who was running, and he had plenty of time had he set his feet. Just couldn't find the handle.
So 2 down to Cheslor Cuthbert, and he'll ground it just wide at third base.
That Eibner double was clutch. Was able to hustle into second base, get them all lined up to score.
Cheslor drove in a run in the 4th inning last night. Takes a curveball high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Eibner at second base with 2 down. Backdoor breaking ball makes it 1-2. This is the Royals' second at bat with a runner in scoring position. And I bring that up because in 9 innings against Miley back on April the 30th, they had 1 at bat the entire game with a runner in scoring position. Fouled back to the screen. Still 1-2.
Like the numbers when the Royals score first, 32-9. It's not an automatic guarantee, but numbers do speak at times. Hopefully that's the case.
Now toward right center field. That is down. Extra bases. An RBI for Cuthbert. He comes through with 2 outs, and the Royals lead 2-0.
Cuthbert 8th double. Miley looking out there saying, wow, ball had a lot of air under it. Wish it could have been caught, but it was placed just right. Breaking ball. Cuthbert stayed with it, went down, and kept his hands inside the ball, which was good. He tries to pull that. He's a ground ball out. Great job of figuring Miley out. And for Eibner, happy haircut.
And now Whit Merrifield bats for a second time. Mariners played him to pull. We haven't seen that yet. Merrifield hits the ball to all fields. Royals has finished their first time through, which has been troublesome for Miley this year. And Merrifield goes to right center field. That's a long run for Martin. doubles for the Royals in the second inning. And a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, so the only 3 hitters in the Royals lineup that have never faced Miley before are saying, we weren't there when you threw that complete game shutout, and we don't care. Look at this, another inside-out swing on a ball that should have been hit that way. Not trying to pull him, going with it. Ball carrying nicely here at the K. Oh, yeah. The rookies today are 4 for 4 with 3 doubles.
Mel Stottlemyre Jr. is the Mariners pitching coach. Has a quick word with Miley, our Toyota League leaders for today. Going back to the beginning of last year, Wade Miley, with at least 3 starts, has been the best pitcher against the Royals. Royals had a couple of base hits in the first inning, but also grounded into a double play. And now in the second inning, they come up with 3 runs on 3 doubles, and it all started with a leadoff walk.
Royals taking advantage of the spacious gaps here at the K.
1-1 on Colon. He grounded into a 5-4-3 double play in the first inning.
And in order to help your pitching staff here, Dayton Moore has done a great job assembling athletes in the outfield that can have speed, that can cover the ground out there, that can catch those long fly balls before they drop. And we have seen so many runs saved and pitch counts saved by those great legs of Lorenzo Cain and Paulo Orlando, Dyson Gordon. They were built for this ballpark. Colon, man, he's the only guy that usually goes to the opposite field, and today he is pulling everything.
31 pitches in this bottom of the second inning for Wade Miley. And remember, it is hot and humid. I'll bet it feels like more than 31 pitches, probably more like 41.
Leave that defense out there in the sweltering heat. Continue the frenzy style hitting.
Temperature at first pitch was 88, but the heat index was 98. So it's been a strain for Miley. It's been a strain for his defenders. As Colon chased a bad pitch down and in and strikes out. Miley strikes out 2 in the inning. Leadoff walk to Salvador Perez. Brett Eibner doubles. Chesler Cuthbert doubles after a ground out from Escobar. And then Whit Merrifield doubles.
Love the opposite field hitting.
As tempting as it is and as appealing as it is, stay out of the fountains, or you will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. But boy, does that look good. Adam Lind takes a pitch a little bit low from Volquez. There you go. Prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Volquez, this is pitch number 18, and 15 have been strikes. He's retired the first 6 Mariners hitters. An 8-pitch first and an 8-pitch second. It'll be Lind, Iannetta, and Marte.
So far, the Royals have gotten Volquez some runs. He so far this year, he's has the 7th lowest run support, just at 3.59 runs per game. So they've almost gotten to that mark already.
Hosmer down to a knee. He'll take it to the bag himself, and Volquez is set down the first 7. Don't forget, if you can't watch the games on TV, you can now stream games live on your mobile device. Just go to your app store and download the free Fox Sports Go app. Log in and stream the Royals wherever you go. That'll bring up Chris Iannetta, Mariners number 8 hitter. Down and away, ball 1.
Talking about that run support, how important that is really for a pitcher's win-loss record, mainly. Okay, so when you see a guy that doesn't have a lot of wins but has a good ERA, it's because he's not getting any run support. But Volquez, when he gets 3 or more runs of support, he's 18-4.
Ground ball to Escobar, who backs up for a big hop and throws out Iannetta.
And the Royals are 25-6. So just get him some runs like they're doing.
And not a lot of runs.
Right. He's not asking for a lot.
3 or more. You're not talking about 6 or more.
No, and when Volquez is on, his 3 pitches are working down in the zone. The changeup's exceptional. Opponents are only hitting 207 with 1 homer off of that pitch. Monty was talking about that in the pregame show, and man, what a fooler that pitch is to a hitter. You're looking for fastball, and you see that changeup with his depth and the movement he gets down and away from lefties and into righties. You're going to top it and hit it on the ground. You can't get under it.
Ketel Marte takes ball 1 down and away. Marte led off in game 1 of the series. He is batting 9th today. 2 balls, no strikes. Two and 1. Two balls, 2 strikes. Typically, Volquez pitches with a pretty good tempo, but on a day like today, you can understand if he takes a little more time in between pitches, he's going to be dealing with a lot of perspiration. There'll be some times where both pitchers are going to have to take a little stroll around the mound just to get their wind back on a hot day like today.
Yeah, and you'll notice too, a lot of pitchers, they wear sleeves, not all the way down to their wrist, but they wear them, and they use that to wipe their forehead with the sleeves.
Still 2-2 on Marte. Little extra relief at the moment as some big white fluffy clouds have gotten in between the sun and the playing surface. That'll give everybody a little bit of relief. Salvi sets up inside, and he misses inside. 3-2. Leonis Martin is on deck.
Marte hitting that 9-hole. He's a leadoff hitter now. He's acting like one, taking a lot of pitches here.
Off the side wall.
Just battling. You know, if you got to know what kind of hitter you are. Marte obviously is not a power hitter, so he's not up there 3-2 looking to juice one like a lot of hitters are. They're looking to drive one out of the park. He's just looking to put. It's like a 2-strike approach, and it is 3-2, but he's not gearing up.
Colon to the middle, and that's 3 perfect innings for Edinson Volquez. Pitching with a 3-0 lead, and the Royals will have Morales, Hosmer, and Perez coming up in the bottom of the 3rd. Emeritus of the Community Christian Church and KCMO, Dr. Bob Hill, served there for more than 30 years before retiring last year, when he began working as the community consultant with the Kaufman Foundation and Citizen Corps of What You Can Do. He's the recipient of multiple degrees. Dr. Hill also serves as a board member of multiple organizations, including the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, and sitting in the Buck O'Neil Legacy seat at today's game. 1-1 on Kendrys Morales, leading off the bottom of the 3rd inning. Let's check in with Joel.
Ryan, when we were in St. Louis, told you that Brian Pena and Kendrys Morales grew up together as best friends in Cuba. They were contemporaries. Well, Leonis Martin, the center fielder for Seattle, was a bit younger, and he said that he grew up idolizing Kendrys Morales. He said everybody went and watched him play. Everybody wanted to hit like Kendrys Morales, and so when he went and played in the games and played with his friends, it was Kendrys Morales. That was the guy that they were all wanting to be when they were playing.
Kendrys might have been playing center field when he was going to watch him hit. Morales was an outfielder with the Cuban national team. Lind feeds Miley, who gets to the bag in front of Kendrys, and there's one down. Speaking of Brian Pena, well, the Cardinals were really in a tough spot when they were here. They had Eric Fryer, which isn't a name that should ring a bell with Royals fans, but the Cardinals were really happy with Eric Fryer as their backup catcher. But they had Brian Pena signed to a 2-year contract. Brian comes off the disabled list. He had knee surgery in spring training. They designated Eric Fryer for assignment. He's picked up by the Brewers on waivers, and 3 days later Brian Pena goes on the disabled list. His knee started acting up, and Eric Fryer is gone.
Oh.
Hit right to Robinson Cano, and Eric Hosmer grounds out to the Mariners second baseman for a second time. So the moral of that story is, you know, sometimes when the Royals or any other team, they seem to have a lot of depth in one area. The impulse is, well, let's trade one of those guys. You know, let's send them off to another team and fill a hole, which a lot of teams will do. But sometimes a situation like that presents itself, and all of a sudden you have no depth at a position.
You get bit. Cardinals are no stranger to injuries. Last year they had a bunch of them, and now they're piling up again on them.
One and one on Salvador Perez. Salvi walked, leading off the second inning. The Royals went on to score 3. Hit hard, and Seager makes a nice backhand play, and over to first in time. 3 ground ball outs for Wade Miley in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Edinson Volquez is open with 3 perfect innings. We go to the 4th. The Royals lead 3-0. Three-0 Royals to the top of the 4th inning. Ryan Lefevre, Rex Hudler, Jeff Montgomery. 304 saves amongst the 3 of us. Edinson Volquez said in spring training this year, I want to be more of a contact pitcher. Felt like he threw too many pitches last year in some starts, and he's been the ultimate contact pitcher today.
Yeah, and I think really getting those early runs in the 2nd inning really helped him go out there and hopefully return to steadiness. We talk about steady Eddie last 3 starts now. I think he's looked a lot better.
Long run, and Paulo Orlando over from center field calls off Whit Merrifield, and there's one down. I had mentioned early on there's a stitching on Volquez's glove. I mentioned in the 1st inning, talking with Ned Yost, about some of the things that pitchers have tried over the years, pitching coaches have suggested over the years for a pitcher to somehow get over the 1st inning blues. Any of those come to mind for you? Well,
I felt a tool that helped me a lot was to have a batter actually stand in the batter's box when I warmed up, because as a relief pitcher coming in, you have no time to get an inning or 2 to get things going. You have to be ready to go as soon as you hit that mound. And I always would have a batter stand in just like he's leaning out over the plate, and maybe from the left side and a few from the right side, and just try to almost kind of simulate a game.
Right.
Even though he's not swinging the bat out in the bullpen, you can pitch to him.
That's a good idea.
That makes great sense, because Hud brought up in the 1st inning that there's no way to completely gauge your stuff when you're warming up, because you don't with a bat. There's no with a bat in it, so you can't tell if it's a mistake or not.
And the other thing I would do is, a lot of times the pitchers tell the catcher what they're going to throw. They'll give a motion with their glove, symbolizing a fastball or a curveball or a changeup, whatever it's going to be. and I would have the catcher actually put the signs down. And I would really kind of feed off of him when that batter is standing in there, almost like I don't know exactly what I'm going to throw. I'm going to let the catcher dictate what I'm going to throw, and it kind of forced me to throw all my pitches. It kind of got me into that game mode before I came into the game.
Interesting. So that begs the obvious question: why don't, when pitchers are warming up to come into a game, we'll tap back to Volquez. He's going to get another out on the ground. Smith is out. Why don't more pitchers have a batter standing there when they're warming up?
And I see them doing it a lot of times during their bullpen sessions when they're doing their sideline work between starts, but hardly ever do I see somebody doing it during a game.
Volquez doing his best James Paxton impersonation today with the low pitch count.
He's a smart man. He likes to get off that field, get in the air conditioning.
I bet his fielders appreciate that too. Robinson Cano flied out to right field in the first inning. I think he was taking all the way, Hud.
No question. But you know, a little bit shocking that he's taken, because he's got 32 hits this year on an 0-0 count. That's tops in the majors. So I don't know why he's taken. He's hot with first pitches this year.
And notice he got a changeup on the first pitch, and then Edinson Volquez follows it up with another changeup. So Eddie very well aware of the fact that he is a very aggressive hitter early in the count.
Going to try and get him with a curveball, and it's pulled foul. I've heard of pitchers warming up before a start will actually sit down on the bench in the bullpen to simulate pitching an inning, sitting down, letting their heart rate drop, and then getting back up and warming up again, almost like they're trying to burn that first inning in the bullpen and not on the field. Cuthbert with a diving attempt. Merrifield gets to it quickly off the left field line, and out of all that, Cano has a 2-out single.
Like that hustle by Merrifield. He went right to that ball. I mean, he was hustling hard and made up a lot of ground, keeping Cano at first.
Yeah, going to see the look like a curveball that he didn't get the good finish on, didn't get it down and down and in, maybe where Sal wanted, kind of hung up in the middle part of the plate. Allows Cano to see it for a long time, and it got extended and drove it.
And man, his bat stays in the zone a long time. I mean, he's a tough out.
Great spot. A strike to Nelson Cruz. He grounded to third in the second inning. Oh, 2.
Another nice fastball away. We're seeing Nelson Cruz playing the outfield today for the first time in the series, and his average much better as a designated hitter.
Yeah, that's somewhat rare. Most guys would prefer to be on the field. And I think there was a couple balls that were hit in that second inning that Wade Miley expected to be caught by the right fielder. Especially the double by Cheslor Cuthbert, who just seemed to hang into right center field forever and just kept working away from Cruz and Martin.
Yeah, and we showed Miley. He looked disgusted, but he didn't visually show up Cruz by any kind of a body language gesture, which we've seen. I remember Dave Stieb pitching in Toronto one time against our team, and Damaso Garcia was a second baseman, and he didn't get to a ball that Stieb thought he should have gotten into, and Stieb threw his arms up in the air and showed Garcia up, and Garcia left the game. He waited till he got taken out, but they had words in the dugout, and he left. Manager took him out. He says, I'm not playing behind that guy.
Really?
Yeah. Obviously, there must have been some other incidents that have happened. You know, some pitchers, you know, they get so worked up and they expect perfection out there behind them, and if it doesn't happen, they show them up visually on the field, and they don't like that. So I'm glad that Miley didn't really make a big display of his anger towards Cruz for not getting to that ball.
Two balls, 2 strikes on Cruz.
That's good to see. Bust him off inside a little bit, make him back up, move his feet a little bit, make him conscious of that inside pitch, and then maybe work away.
I like those first 2 fastballs the way that he went with. I like staying away from a big hitter like Cruz.
Base hit left field. So with 2 down, the Mariners get back-to-back singles from their 2 biggest bats, Cano and Cruz.
How'd the play from Whit Merrifield in left field. Now even more important, holding Cano to a long single after Cruz comes up, and would have been an RBI otherwise.
You're exactly right. Love to see these guys, no matter what amount of service time you have. Obviously, Whit's a rookie, but on contact, I looked up immediately, and Whit was running as hard and as fast as he could to get to that ball to hold him to a single. And it's play like that, it's the little things that turn into big things.
Those numbers were almost reversed last year. Volquez seemed to get better, the more critical the situation. He was most hittable with nobody on base. You put a man on base, he got a little bit better. You put a runner in scoring position, he got even better. And you put runners in scoring position with 2 outs, and he was at his best. So those numbers have been turned upside down somewhat this year.
I think that's been the biggest difference in Edinson Volquez this year. What we saw from last year, the ability to get those big outs, pitch in clutch situations. I think a batting average against was around 202 last year. This year, around 300.
Something kicked up into Salvi's left eye. Kyle Turner's out there to help him out. I hope that's not Victoria's Secret perfume.
I don't think so.
Remember, group tickets and party areas are still available for the remainder of the season. Invite your friends, co-workers, or organization out for a night at Kauffman Stadium and receive great discounts and scoreboard recognition. Groups of 20 or more can contact the Royals Group Sales Department. Group Sales at Royals.com. A lot of groups here this afternoon. First to watch the Royals and the Mariners, and then Faith and Family Day post-game concert by Casting Crowns. Fouled away by Kyle Seager. He flied out to right field in the 2nd inning.
You know, this is the part of the order for the Mariners is so dangerous. Cano with 56 RBIs, Cruz 58 RBIs, Seager 56. Those 3 guys in the meat of their order, and they're getting the job done. So if he can somehow find a way to get through this, he can breathe a little easier the rest of the way through this lineup.
Seager fights it off. Here are those numbers we were just talking about, and how good Edinson Volquez was last year with runners in scoring position. 202 last year. He was Houdini with runners in scoring position, and now 111 points higher this season. Mariners have their first 2 runners of the day. Volquez set down the first 11 Mariners hitters. And then Cano and Cruz both singled with 2 outs. 0-2 on Seager. Center field deep. Paulo is back, and Seager ties the game on an 0-2 pitch.
Dangerous. 0-2 when you're ahead in the count, Monty. Is that the last pitch you want to throw that guy?
Yeah, you got to do something. He actually looked kind of miffed in his earlier swings in that appearance, but then he made the adjustment. He got a pitch from Edson Volquez that he's able to do something with. Pitch pretty much middle. He's not going to miss that one very often.
And now Dae-Ho Lee will take a slider for a strike. So that's 130 home runs for the Seattle Mariners this year, second most in the major leagues, and 18 for Kyle Seager. Another slider, and it's 0-2 on Lee. He grounded out to Colon at second base his first time up.
This fourth inning a little reminiscent of last night when Giordano Ventura had 2 outs. Ends up giving up all the runs after getting 2 outs.
3-3 tie to the bottom of the fourth. Baseball is brought to you by Chevy. Visit your local Kansas City area Chevy dealer for great prices on the all-new 2016 Malibu. By Panera Bread, food as it should be with 24 KC Metro locations. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors, right stuff, low price every day. Kyle Seager with 2 outs and the count 0-2 hits a 3-run home run to dead center field, and the Mariners have tied the game. The Royals scored all 3 of their runs against Wade Miley in the bottom of the second. Alcides Escobar had an RBI ground out, and then Chesler Cuthbert and Whit Merrifield had RBI doubles. Paulo Orlando in a strange at bat in the second inning struck out by offering it a pitch with a bunt with 2 strikes, and that was with Salvador Perez at first base and nobody out. And now Miley gets him with a big curveball. That is Miley's 3rd strikeout. And now Brett Eibner. Royals rookies today are a combined 4 for 4 with 3 doubles, 2 runs scored, and an RBI. Inside corner a strike. Eibner's double was to left center field. Cuthbert and Merrifield went the other way. Over the mound, Seager cuts across the diamond and gets Eibner. Time for our sprint trivia question. Name the former Royal who remains the only pitcher to win the All-Star game for both the American League and the National League. Is that a hint with a shot of the Royals Hall of Fame?
They could be trying to trick us too.
So let's see. Brett Saberhagen, Kevin Appier, Royals Hall of Famers who played in both leagues. Escobar grounded out to third in the second inning, and that drove in a runner from third. Seager, who just hit the 3-run home run to tie the game in the top of the 4th inning, bobbled that ground ball from Escobar, and Seager was going to try and come to the plate to get Perez. Now up the middle and into center field. Alcides Escobar extends his streak. He has now reached base safely in 25 consecutive games, extending his career high, and that's still the longest active streak in the major leagues.
Yeah, how about that? Little breaking ball up right between the wickets of Miley. He almost thought he was going to wear that one.
Ball 1 to Cuthbert. Chesler was down in the count 1-2 in the second inning, and he doubled to right center, driving in Eibner, and then he scored on a double from Merrifield. One ball, one strike.
On the pregame show, we had a segment essentially dedicated to Chesler Cuthbert. It was great to hear what his teammates had to say about him and all the things he's done in his opportunity here as a Royal this year.
That leads Cano right to the bag. And that'll do it for the Royals in the bottom of the 4th inning. The Royals scored 3 in the second. The Mariners scored 3 in the 4th.
The hill in the top of the 5th as we check in on the Detroit Tigers and our Lee Summit Mazda game break. That would be one Victor Martinez going deep at Rogers Center. Solo home run, and Detroit 3-2 the score against Toronto. And we see the standings right now, and all bunched up right around that second, third, and fourth place. Everybody jockeying for position and hoping at some point they can catch Cleveland.
Royals will get Detroit in their first series after the All-Star break in Detroit, and then 2 series later the Royals will have the Indians here at Kauffman Stadium. One and one on Adam Lind. He grounded out to first against Volquez in the 3rd inning. Eddie retired the first 11 today and gave up a 2-out single to Cano, then a single to Cruz, and then a 3-run home run to Seager, and that was on an 0-2 pitch.
I'm surprised that he threw that pitch there, because he had fooled him on 3 other previous pitches that he looked really baffled on, and he threw it right down the middle.
That's drilled to left field. Merrifield's going to have to play it off the fence, and Adam Lind has a leadoff double. That was on a 1-2 pitch.
Eddie allows Lind to get his bat extended, had the ball up and kind of out of the strike zone, but I've said this before, you get the ball up, you've done half the work for the hitter.
Now the Mariners catcher Chris Iannetta. He grounded out to Escobar at short his first time up. Iannetta is going to say it got him on the hand. I have not seen C.B. Bucknor point to first base.
Nope, he made the foul ball sign. Hit on the knob of the bat. Might have pinched his pinky or the palm. Sometimes those guys leave that over the knob, but not here. This got all knob.
Mariners are going to challenge this.
May have surprised him a little with the vibration, but it didn't look like it hit his hand at all.
That ball sure went a long way for hitting his hand.
Nah, it hit the knob of the bat.
Let's listen. Volquez is looking up at Crown Vision, waiting for a replay. I don't know how you change that call. I mean, the sound alone tells you that it hit the knob of the bat. Dead ball. Foul ball. That's a tough challenge to lose. I mean, it's one thing if you're disputing an out, but that's just one pitch. Now it gives the Mariners runners at first and second and nobody out if the call is reversed, but challenge is gone in the top of the 5th inning. And Iannetta is still at the plate, 0-1.
I totally agree with you. I mean, there was no point to even take an attempt to waste your challenge.
One ball and 1 strike. And they challenged right away. I mean, there was no Scott Service standing on the stairs looking in his dugout waiting to get word whether they're going to challenge or not. That will not advance Lynn. Ionetta's out, 1 away.
There are some managers that will challenge on their own without even asking the replay official. Talking with Billy Duplessis, the replay coordinator for the Royals. Getting a little time with him, explaining me a little bit about the job. Says that there are some managers. He showed me the statistics of who's the best and who's not. I mean, they had it all filed up for all 30 teams. And he told me there was a few managers in the league. When I said, wow, look at these guys down here. He goes, well, those guys, they just make their own challenges without using their guys in the thing based on what they see.
Well, that's probably what it was, because, I mean, the Mariners trainer came out to Ionetta, and Scott Service was right behind him, motioning to his ears, saying, put the headsets on, we want a challenge. So Scott Service trying to maybe con the umpires into thinking it hit him, may have conned his own manager.
And by the way, Billy Duplessis and the Kansas City Royals are first in all of baseball, 70% right.
I think that's one of the positions that people don't realize the importance and the impact that it can have on your season, not just a game, but your season.
Up the middle. Lind will be held. Paulo Orlando closed in on that ball quickly, and the Mariners have runners at first and third, 1 out. Ketel Marte is 1 for 2.
No chance to score, Lind.
And now Martin, he has struck out and flied to center. He runs well. He'd be a tough guy to double up. He shortens way up on the bat. And he's going to bunt, and he bunts foul. Lind was not coming down the line. That was not a squeeze. He was just bunting for a base hit.
Volquez has induced 9 ground ball double plays this season. Marte's grounded into 4.
Swinging, and he pulls it foul. 0-2.
It's Martin hitting, not Marte. Martin, he's only grounded into 1.
Be a great situation for a put away pitch. Strike 3 here would be perfect for Eddie Volquez.
But not with a fastball he threw to Seager. 0-2. Don't want that one. Just hit a corner, maybe make him swing off the plate.
Very elevated fastball, it looks like.
He does. Do they get the swing? No. Third base umpire is Manny Gonzalez. The Royals had the right idea.
Would not surprise me now, since he's risen at eye level a little bit, come back with something below the strike zone, maybe a changeup or a curveball out of the zone.
Lynn doubled, and there with 1 out, Marte singled. Still 1-2. Salvador Perez points his glove out at Volquez. That's right where he wanted that pitch. Volquez has struck out 2 in his first 4 1/3 innings. One of those strikeouts was Martin to begin the game on a curveball down. So he's thrown him 2 fastballs up. Now to your point, Monty, maybe he's got him set up for that breaking ball down. And that's what they're going to go with. Again, Martin thought about it, but no swing. 2-2.
That's where you want that pitch to be.
That's a good spot.
Can't do any damage down there.
Martin, a leadoff hitter, has the second most strikeouts for the Mariners. Runner goes from first. That's ball 3, and now a rundown. Lind is not a good runner at third. And Marte is out. I don't think they had the right pieces in place to try a double steal. Not with Adam Lind at third base.
No, it looked awkward there for sure. Like maybe there was a missed call or a missed sign, but at least the Royals looked a little bit better with their rundown here. They were closing better. Okay, Escobar, see, he's getting him committed now. There's another speedy runner involved in the rundown. So 2 throws work. And Mike Jersey's been talking with those guys about those rundowns, trying to close quicker, and Volquez loses him.
Well, that's a big play now after the walk to Martin, who, by the way, came back from 0-2. If Marte is not running, the Mariners have the bases loaded with Seth Smith coming up, who hit 2 home runs against the Royals back in April. It's a first walk allowed by Volquez. Smith is grounded out to second and grounded back to the mound. Changeup. That was the pitch that Monty was talking about before the first pitch tonight.
Really nice changeup. Finishes down below the bat. That's the whole key. You want to be down with that changeup. And Eddie really's been a different pitcher. Retired the first 11 straight batters. Then he had hit, home run. And this inning, he's had some difficulty with the strike zone. He's had a lot of pitches up. Like seeing him get back in that groove.
Kind of a chase another changeup. 0-2.
You know, a lot of pitchers have a straight changeup. It's just a change of speed. Volquez, he gets action on his dips down and sinks. It's got an unusual movement down, almost like a split finger would. So that's another added bonus to that pitch there. It's got that exceptional sink down.
Why not another one? Volquez pitches out of it. He gets around the leadoff double. The Mariners had runners at first and third with 1 out, but Volquez skates through the 5th inning. 3 to the bottom of the 5th inning. We have a couple of hints for our sprint trivia question. The only Royals pitcher who won for both the American League and the National League in All-Star games. Merrifield takes a strike. The biggest hint is he did not appear as an All-Star for the Royals. It was with another team. It was at the end of his career, and he was an All-Star in the 70s and the 80s.
Doesn't help me much.
Yeah. And he's a lefty. Two and one on Merrifield, who's 2 for 2. He is singled and he has an RBI double. What was his last year with the Royals? 83. What's his last name?
That's a good hint.
Yeah. Never would have gotten that. I just got the hint of all hints. Merrifield strikes out. He has a colorful last name. Vida Blue. 71 with the A's, 81 with the Giants. He was a Rookie of the Year Cy Young winner, wasn't he? Christian Colon is grounded into a double play and struck out. He was a Cy Young MVP. 1971. That'd be his first full big league season. Vida Blue. Martin over from center field. 2 down in the bottom of the 5th inning. Today's University of Kansas hospital injury report. Carlos Rodon, young lefty for the White Sox, placed on the disabled list today with a sprained left wrist, falling in the dugout.
Well, accidents happen all over. You could fall off the curb in the morning, get in the newspaper, couldn't you? It's happened.
You could.
Too bad for the White Sox.
A little bit inside. 1-1 on Morales. He singled in the 1st inning and grounded out to first in the 3rd. Another base hit. Morales is at first base with 2 down.
Stayed on top of this one nicely. That ball was up. Then he got some top spin on it. Hooked it. Finally, he's mixing all of his pitches. 2 and 4 seam. Fastballs, not overpowering. 88 to 92. Slider, curve, change.
Hosmer goes the other way.
First ball he's hit in 2 games to the opposite field. Good to see that. All the outs he's made in the 1st and 2nd games of this series have been pulled on the ground to the right side. That's where he likes it. Right, middle away. Goes with it.
Well, when the Mariners scored 3 runs in the 4th inning, leadoff man made out, number 2 hitter made out. Next 2 guys got singles, setting up a 3-run home run. In this inning, first 2 hitters were out. Single, and now Salvador Perez on the ground to Cano. Salvi is 0 for 2. The Royals strand 2 in the bottom of the 5th inning. Inning. Seattle had a 3-run 4th inning. And we remind you to vote for the Royals Player of the Month at one of the 7 Rally House locations in the KC metro area. All participants will be entered to win a majestic prize pack. Well, those guys are lucky because some clouds have been hanging over Kauffman Stadium the past couple innings, but every year on a day like today, Monty, someone decides, you know what, I'm going to work on my tan today. They take their shirt off in the 1st inning, put it back on in the 9th, and experience every color in the rainbow as far as sunburn goes.
Well, a day like today, before the clouds came in, it wouldn't take a lot of work to work on your tan.
And don't get deceived by the cloud cover too. If you have the if your skin's light enough, Monty, I've gotten burned worse in overcast than I have with the regular sun.
Yep.
It's dangerous.
0-2 on Robinson Cano. With 2 outs and nobody on in the 4th inning. And Edinson Volquez having retired the first 11. Cano hit what looked like a harmless single to left field. Then Cruz hit one off the end of the bat and single to left, setting up Kyle Seager's game-tying home run. That'll be out of play.
Not really surprised by the home run from an excellent hitter like Seager, but the 0-2 count, that was the thing that was surprising to me.
Yeah, that really hurt. That took the wind and this right out of the sails of the Royals. Just punched him in the gut.
And it'll be Cano, Cruz, and Seager in the 6th inning. Deep into left center field, slicing, and that really helped out Merrifield. Join us on Monday, July 25th for Christmas in July. Add to your collection of festive attire with an exclusive ugly holiday sweater Royals t-shirt. Available with purchase of this theme ticket. That's mean. Be sure to bring a new unwrapped toy for a special Toys for Tots drive outside the ballpark. That wasn't an ugly shirt. What's wrong with that guy's shirt?
It's just a little colorful.
What about that guy's shirt? You might want to go up a button, but other than that, nothing wrong with that shirt.
You are the connoisseur of Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah, at one time.
And now they're all ties.
That's right. Or in boxes in the attic. Three 3-0 on Cruz.
I heard earlier we were talking about the effectiveness of Edinson Volquez's changeup, how it has that life, that finish goes straight down. That last pitch he threw, he got on the side of it, and it didn't have that same life. You got to stay behind the baseball on a changeup to get that life like Edinson Volquez needs to get.
Swinging on 3-0, and Cruz drives it to the wall. Throw goes to second base. So Whit Merrifield, who is a good defender everywhere he plays, he was trying to get Cruz. The Royals infield went into a sure double positioning, but Whit was thinking, I want to get an out at second base.
Yeah, no, you just love that determination in him. No matter where he plays with a sense of urgency. He's thinking all the way, I'm going to get him.
And there was nobody there.
Guys, a lot of times you see rookies come in, they play hard, play like their hair's on fire. Then after a year or two or so in the big leagues, they kind of seemingly lose that same style of play. But I don't think you're going to see that from Whit Merrifield.
So we showed you the home run by Seager, down in the count 0-2. Got a fastball and drove it to straightaway center field. And that tied the game at 3.
And coming into this game, 304 hitter with a runner in scoring position. Dangerous hitter, obviously.
On the ground to Hosmer.
All right.
He'll take it to the bag himself. Cruz goes to third, 2 down. Seager, by the way, with that home run, has an extra base hit in 9 consecutive games. And now a pinch hitter. Franklin Gutierrez is going to hit for Dae-Ho Lee. Changeup down and away, ball 1. Fastball at the knees for a strike. Gutierrez is 1 for 5 in this series with a double.
See, Edinson Volquez only 18% changeups today. The last couple starts, he was up considerably higher. The changeup's a good pitch for him.
Well,
2 balls and 1 strike.
You wonder why Scott Service swapped out DHs right here. Usually not a situation you would do that. So you wonder if Dae-Ho's okay.
Three and 1 on Gutierrez. Shallow center field. Colon is out and makes the play. Gutierrez pops to second. Volquez works around the 1-out double. And we head to the bottom of the 6th inning in a 3-3 tie. That's crew chief Field and Colbreth checking in with the Royals grounds crew. There's some thunderstorms in the area that at the moment are missing Kauffman Stadium to the north. And the best sign right now is that the grounds crew is not positioned behind the tarp. So we might have to play through a sprinkle. But the heavy stuff is to the north. George Peterson from Lee Summit is our contestant in the Sonic Slam inning. And if the Royals hit a home run out of the park in this inning, George wins $2,000. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, George wins $25 grand from Sonic and the Royals. Wade Miley has given Paulo Orlando a bad time today with changeups and breaking balls down and out of the strike zone.
Yeah, when you work at that fast pace, that tempo that he's working, and then you slow it down with his changeup and he's throwing them slower and slower, it's really tough on the patience of the hitter.
Off the end of the bat. Going to be a tough play. And Miley with a tumbling miss. And just by putting the ball in play, Paulo Orlando ends up with an infield single. And with Paulo blazing up the line, we'll call that our AT&T high-speed replay.
Missed nearly an impossible play for a left-handed pitcher to me. I think if Miley had thrown that ball, it probably would have gone down to the right field corner. He's probably lucky he didn't get a grip on that baseball.
Yeah, and you know, the competitiveness of the athlete obviously is the reason why. But you know, you're almost better just walking over and put that in your pocket. That's what I like to call a pocket ball. And the Royals, you know, they put that ball in play and they use their speed. That's a 72nd infield hit by the Royals. That's 5th in the American League. They get a lot of those. Hoping to turn them into something.
Yeah, I'd like to see the Royals running game kind of come back into play. Haven't seen much running at all lately.
And that's one of the characteristics of this offense. It's been missing.
Royals are 6th now in the American League in stolen bases after spending most of the season in the top 2. Changeup on 2-0.
You know, obviously a big reason for that, playing from behind a lot, but it just seems like a lot of times last year they were able to spark some rallies, get things going with those, you know, putting guys in the motion. It's only 3 stolen bases in the last 15 games, so.
3-1 on Eibner, and you can see some of the fans behind home plate putting on their rain gear as some raindrops begin to fall.
If he throws you a 2-0 change, he'll throw you a 3-1 change. That's called pitching backwards.
And that's the sign that he gets from Iannetta. And that one is taken for a strike. Eibner doubled to left center field with 1 out in the 2nd inning, and he scored 1 of the 3 runs. Rounded out to 3rd in the 4th. The Royals scored all of their runs in the 2nd. The Mariners scored all of their runs in the 4th.
And he might just triple up with it. But you know, you can get a guy into a pattern like that and then guess on a certain pitch and a certain count and get him. That's all part of watching out here in the dugout what he's doing to your own teammates. Instead of going in and looking at your video and watching it in there, you're going to stay out there and see what he's doing in game. Sometimes you're able to pick up sequences and in certain pitch that you can get that one hit that's going to make a difference in the game. Eibner's got good power. 3-2. He's thinking fastball, but the way Miley's pitching backwards, I don't think he's going to get a heater.
90 pitches for Miley, and the phone is ringing in the Mariners bullpen. Orlando runs, and the pitch is fouled at the plate.
So yet another changeup, and he's getting Eibner pulling off of it.
Paulo is not running, and that's inside for ball 4. And here's Mel Stottlemyre Jr., the Mariners pitching coach, out to the mound. Good call by home plate umpire C.B. Buckner.
That's a ball.
As they chat, we remind you that beginning on August 5th, come to Kauffman Stadium for the Baseball Hall of Fame tour. It's called We Are Baseball. It's a one-of-a-kind exhibit featuring artifacts, images, and never-before-seen video. Also an IMAX movie. The exhibit galleries will run through August 21st from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day in the Kauffman Stadium parking lot. Again, August 5th through August 21st.
C.B. Buckner was reading Miley's lips. He went out way earlier than 30 seconds to get this thing in the way. I think Miley was giving him a little mouthful out there.
Situation right here, you see Miley talking to Seager. Now they know that Escobar has the ability. He has 7 sacrifice bunts this year. 1 for a bunt base hit. Nobody out. Royals looking to do some damage. They do play some small ball, especially with the right guys in the right spot, and Escobar's that guy.
Very high for ball 1.
And that's what you're going to see in a situation like this where they're expecting a bunt. The hardest pitch to bunt is a hard fastball in on your hands and up, because you pop those balls up. The easier ones are the breaking balls, the change-ups. Those are all moving down. Easier for the hitter to put them in play on the ground.
Miley going to take a shot at third base. They got him. Royals will take another look at it.
Boy, I'll tell you, he pounced on that. Now, Escobar would have liked to have had that ball down the line a little bit more, sure, but Miley was convicted and convinced he could get him, and he short arm stroke threw a perfect strike to Seager, and I believe he got him.
Yep.
We're talking about Miley, the lefty, going on Paulo Orlando's swinging bunt to the first base side. That's a tough play. The third base side a lot easier for the lefty.
Cuthbert into left center field. That'll get Eibner to the plate. And Chesler Cuthbert just keeps on hitting. That's his second RBI today, and the Royals regain the lead. Cheslor Cuthbert getting Brett Eibner to the plate with our Dodge drive of the game.
Yeah, you know, a lot of his hits recently have come on off-speed pitches down in the zone, and Cheslor, he really does shorten up his swing, use his lower half for leverage, and gets down and just able to put that ball in play on off-speed pitches down. So you're going to challenge him up in the zone.
Tom Wilhelmsen jogs in from the Mariners bullpen. He'll get Whit Merrifield with 2 on and 1 out. Royals lead 4-3. Cheslor Cuthbert has driven in 2 of the runs. A double back in the second inning. And the Royals 3-run second inning. That drove in Brett Eibner. And then here in the 6th inning to regain the lead, a single in the left center field, scoring Brett Eibner. Rookie driving in a rookie, and it's been a big day for the Royals rookies today. Merrifield has 2 hits as he steps in against Wilhelmsen. Breaking ball for a strike. Wilhelmsen is a Chevy call to the bullpen, on for the 24th time this year.
Yikes. Well, he's got some numbers that are big there, and the ERA. Those are big numbers.
It's just his 4th appearance with Seattle. He started the year with Texas. It's his 2nd tour with the Mariners. No balls and 2 strikes. So Merrifield has 2 hits. Brett Eibner has been on base twice and scored twice. Cheslor Cuthbert has 2 hits, 2 RBIs, and a run scored. The 3 Royals rookies in the lineup today.
Yeah, Wilhelmsen, a sinker baller. Low to mid-90s, curve, and a change.
Slow breaking ball. Wilhelmsen gets Merrifield on 3 pitches. So Christian Colon with 2 on 2 out. 0 for 3 so far. Down and away, 1 ball and no strikes. Wade Miley is out after 5 1/3 innings. The Royals collected 10 hits against him. And he's still responsible for Escobar and Cuthbert on the bases.
A couple lefties in there talking about the hitters. The Royals trying to get him on certain pitches.
Breaking ball stayed up and a check swing foul.
CC liked to have that pitch back. That one was a hanger.
Yeah, and normally he's looking to go to right field, but today for some reason he's pole happy, and it's not like him. He normally uses this side of the field, and then with all the lane over here, he's got plenty of room to pick up a ribby here.
That curveball stayed up. 2 balls, 1 strike. Colon's at second today. Merrifield is in left with Alex Gordon getting the day off. On the ground to third, and Seager is right at the bag. Inning over, the Royals regain the lead. Chesler Cuthbert is driven in 2. He gets Brett Eibner to the plate. It all started with an infield single from Paulo Orlando. And at the end of 6, the Royals lead 4-3.
Look at the cute little baby. That would be Addison Stir, Ashley and Wes Stir. Addison, Jeff Montgomery's granddaughter, and that is his daughter, the brand new mom, Ashley. Time now for our Panera scoreboard, a look around the league, which is nowhere near as good a look at Addison Stir. But there you go, the scores: Cleveland up, Detroit wins, Chicago one better than Atlanta, and Boston right now on top of Tampa Bay. Our Lee Summit Mazda game break: Jose Ramirez against Big CC Sabathia, and that puts the Indians up in that one. And I'll reiterate it once again, much rather look at Monty's granddaughter, Addison. She was out there visiting us on set. We were ready just to have her do the whole pregame show. Just sit there and be cute.
Congratulations, Monty. She's beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Sitting out in the left field bleachers today.
Yep.
Luke Hochevar takes over in the 7th inning. Oh, that's a great picture. You need to get that framed.
Monty.
I agree. She's cutie.
Way to go. Yeah.
How old?
4.5 months.
4.5 months. High and deep and foul. 1-1 on Adam Lind. So Hochevar, a Chevy call to the bullpen after Edinson Volquez went 6 and gave up 3 runs, 6 hits. Hochevar will get the lower third. Lind, Iannetta, and Marte. That's foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. This is the second time in a week that Hochevar has replaced Edinson Volquez. A little different situation here tonight. In Toronto, Hochevar came on for Volquez and inherited the bases loaded and nobody out. Hochevar gets a clean inning today. A little bit outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, those situations like Hoch inherited in Toronto, that's when you like to look on the back of the jersey and see the name Houdini, because that's about the only way to get out of it.
Breaking ball up. Deep left field. Merrifield running out of room. He's got it with literally his back up against the wall.
It's that big overhand curveball that just stayed up, and Lind, after pulling the first 2, he says, I'm going to try to go with this one, and he almost got it up into that wind.
Phew.
One down to Chris Iannetta. Cutter down and away, strike 1.
Yep, straight fastball, cutter, curve. Has great command with that cutter. He can put that where he wants it. When he's going good, it starts on the outer half and ends up off the plate.
That'll be out of play. The lights are on, and it started to get noticeably dark when the Mariners were batting in the 6th inning. But as we learned during the last homestand, can't put the lights on in the middle of an inning where one team gets the lights and the other team doesn't. So thanks to Joe West refreshing us on the rules during the last homestand, the Royals couldn't turn the lights on until the Royals were done batting in the bottom of the 6th inning. Iannetta, remember earlier in the game, he was, well, he wasn't. A pitch hit the knob of his bat, and he tried to convince the home plate umpire C.B. Buckner that he had been hit, and it hit the knob, and the Mariners wasted a challenge. And now Iannetta, for a second time, comes very close to being hit.
That was 2 inches off of his knuckles. That's not where you want to make contact.
Still 0-2.
Hoch's getting a little loopy with that curveball here today. Need to finish that thing under the strike zone.
Especially to this team. They'll make you pay. 2nd in the league in homers.
Sal wants a fastball up and away. Right where he wanted it. Iannetta wouldn't go for it. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That's a very good 0-2 pitch. Not a lot of damage a hitter can do. You set him up for a lot of things after that pitch.
Now he wants a cutter. Target outside, and the cutter's down and away. 2-2. Again, swinging at a pitch that almost hit him. Colon, bare hands, throws just in time to get Iannetta.
Well, that's why you don't want to use that part of the bat for your hits. They don't go too far. Hoch almost caught it. Colon, tough play coming in. Gotta make sure you pick it up first. And Nice put out.
Someone in that dugout is going to tell Iannetta the ball's not carrying to the right side.
That's right. Not like that. Tough at bat.
Two down to KCA Marte. There you go. See, the wind is blowing in from right field. That's not going to help out Iannetta.
It'll knock it down.
One and one on Marte. He's been a tough out in this series.
Yeah, he has. You know, Ryan. He's up there trying to put the ball in play. I mean, he's staying on pitches. He's battling. You know, and that's exactly what you want to do. Making it tough. Ah, swinging it.
He can run. He rounds first, and Eibner gets to it quickly. And Marte with a wide turnaround first is on with a 2-out single. He has 1 home run, so you wouldn't expect him to be swinging for the fences, but a young player who's just in his 2nd year in the big leagues, you can tell he really has a good feel for what type of player he is.
You can tell exactly. He'll show you. Table setter.
And guys, we don't get to see the Mariners a ton like we do the teams in the Central, but a lot of good shortstops in this game, and you know, he's one of those guys that fits in that category.
And now Leonys Martin. Oh for 2 with a walk. That was in the 5th inning. And he walked after he was down in the count at 1 point, 0-2. Fastball is up and away. Cutter for a strike, 1-1. Martin, when he struck out in the 1st inning, that gave him 77 strikeouts. 2nd most for the Mariners. The leader is Nelson Cruz, but Cruz has 23 home runs. Martin is a leadoff type hitter, and that was something that frustrated the Rangers when he came up through their system. His ability to make contact and put the ball in play. They had visions of him playing center field and leading off, getting on base, stealing bases. And last year he was beat out by a Rule 5 pick, Delino DeShields Jr. And that put an end to Martin's time with the Texas Rangers. He has hit 11 home runs. So every now and then with that big swing he'll connect, but his on base percentage is just barely above 300. I bring that up because we were just talking about KCA Marte, a guy who really seems to have a good feel for what type of a player he is. And Leonys Martin, who's been around a lot longer than Marte has, is still getting a feel for what type of player he is.
Yeah, he had a couple of over 100 strikeouts with the Rangers. I mean, you know, you're exactly right. He's got 20 home runs coming into this season in his career, so no wonder they got frustrated with him.
Three balls and 2 strikes. So Marte will be running. Seth Smith, who has power, is on deck. Inside for a walk. So with 2 outs, a single and a walk. if you're a fan of the Royals and the Thunder, come out to Kauffman Stadium as the Royals are hosting Oklahoma City Thunder Night. That's Saturday, July 23rd. Visit Royals.com/theme tickets to purchase a game ticket that includes this exclusive Royals themed Thunder baseball cap. Saturday, July 23rd. Fastball down the middle for strike one.
It seems to me as though Luke has gotten away from his curveball. He threw a couple curveballs, were up in the strike zone, kind of rolling in there, and now he's not going to that pitch. I'd like to see him give it a shot, something down.
Yeah, and you know, Seth Smith's their most productive hitter with runners in scoring position at 320, so be careful here.
Good call, Monty. 0-2.
Perfectly executed on them. The 12-6 curveball.
Right where you want it to end, knees or below.
Smith lays off of it. Good spot. Threw one curveball for a strike and then dipped one out of the strike zone, but Smith picked it up. Marte is at second. Martin is at first. Ochever taking some time in between pitches, and Smith asked for time. Salvador Perez is going to go out and have a chat. Remember, coming up on July 12th, baseball superstars come together for the prime time event that will light up the summer. The MLB All-Star Game from San Diego, only on Fox. Ned Yost had to continue to tweak his All-Star Game roster with Craig Kimbrell going on the disabled list with a knee problem. We just found out that Aaron Sanchez, who pitched so well against the Royals on Monday in Toronto, Aaron Sanchez gets a spot on that team.
That was a very nice audition for Sanchez against the Royals and manager Ned Yost.
1-2 on Smith. Got him. Hard cutter down. Smith strikes out for a second straight at bat. Mariners strand two to the bottom of the 7th inning. Middle of the order coming up. Morales, Hosmer, and Perez. 4-3 Royals on a Chesler Cuthbert go-ahead single in the 6th inning. T-Mobile with our greater coverage of baseball. Other additions to the All-Star game: Michael Saunders and Brandon Belt both won the fan vote in each of their leagues. Well, Saunders will be on Ned Yost's team. Remember, they were touting him as Colonel Saunders.
Yep.
When we were in Toronto. And
yeah,
Brandon Belt will be on Terry Collins' team.
It helps when you have the whole country of Canada voting for you.
Wilhelmsen stays on. It'll be Morales, Hosmer, and Perez. Scott Service has Vidal Nuno ready to go in his bullpen, so he could come on to face Hosmer. Breaking ball pulled out to shallow right field where Cano is waiting for it. And Kendrys is 2 for 4 today. And Scott Service goes to the steps. And we'll go to the bullpen. So the former Baker University left-hander Vidal Nuno comes on to face Eric Hosmer with 1 out in the bottom of the 7th inning. Royals baseball is brought to you by Jack in the Box. It's back. The Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack. Taste it before it's gone at Jack in the Box. And by Jeep. Find your summer of fun with great deals at the Jeep Summer Clearance Event. Vidal Nuno on to face Eric Hosmer with 1 out, nobody on. Hosmer shoots it foul the other way. Nuno pitched last night. He did not face Hosmer. He got Dyson and Gordon. Dyson in the 7th inning, Gordon in the 8th. Again taking a shot at left field. This one will stay in play, and Seth Smith going across the line makes a foul ball catch. Hosmer's 1 for 4. MLB.TV Premium is the #1 live streaming sports service. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD at home, in the office, or on the go. Get real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch-by-pitch tracking, and more. Visit MLB.TV for more details. Strike from Nuno to Salvador Perez. Salvi walked leading off the 2nd inning. That started a 3-run second. He scored on a ground out from Escobar. Otherwise 0 for 2. Deep into the left field corner. Off the foul pole. Salvador Perez is homered in a 2nd straight game. And the Royals lead is 5-3.
Oh, you could tell Salvi was talking to that ball on contact. He had plenty of distance. Sometimes that top hand will take over and it'll hook it right by the pole, but Salvi's going good. Loads up, keeps his head still. Nuno elevates it for him. And now that's the 5th home run he's given up to a right-hander.
Ground ball right to Marte. Paulo Orlando is out, and that's the inning. With 2 outs and nobody on, Salvador Perez hits the ball off the foul pole in left field. And as we head to the 8th inning, the Royals have a 5-3 lead. Royals had a 3-0 lead. Seattle tied it on a 3-run home run in the 4th, and now the Royals have runs in each of the last 2 innings. Cuthbert and Perez driving in the runs, and with Wade Davis on the disabled list, Ned Yost is going to try and go Hochevar, Soria, Herrera to get through the final 3 innings, and Soria will get Cano, Cruz, and Seager.
Oh, thank you.
And Cano running as hard as he can up the first base line is thrown out by Soria.
He'll take that first pitch out any day.
And now Nelson Cruz, he faced Soria in game 1 on Thursday night with 1 out in the 8th inning.
Sure did. Little small breaking ball that really didn't have much life to it. Just stayed right up, and he hit it a long way. Cruz hits very few wall scrapers.
So that makes Cruz 3 out of 9 with 2 home runs all time against Soria. Here we are, 1 out, 8th inning.
Fastball, slider, curve, and change. Sometimes he'll float that curveball in there. Kind of like what he did when Cruz took him deep, but he's got better command with that pitch. And he made a mistake. But in situations like this, late in games, closer, setup man, I mean, he can wear those caps. Just hitting his spots.
The home run on Thursday gave Seattle a 3-0 lead. Royals got 2 in the bottom of the 8th and then 2 in bottom of the 9th to win it. Soria pitches tonight with a 2-run lead. No swing on appeal. 2 balls, 1 strike on Cruz.
You know, up in Toronto, when Ned brought Herrera in a situation we thought he might be closing, but he brought him in early because of the meat of the order. They had some big hitters in there, and he brought him in, and it didn't work. It backfired. So now maybe Ned's thinking, I'm going to bring Soria in this situation with the meat of their order up. See if we can change it. We'll see.
Ooh, man.
That's the one he wanted. That you got to have that. You're going to see Cruz. Now he starts with an open stance, and then he steps right into the plate, and he's looking out over, not necessarily looking inside. He's looking to do some damage middle away. That's why it's important to bust him in with a fastball occasionally. Good pitch there. See how that backed him off? Puts it in his mind now. 3-2. We'll see what he comes with. He'll take it.
Sorry, a little hesitation there. 2 pitches before, he went with a slide step with nobody on to throw Cruz off, and that time he kind of hung in the air a little longer than he normally does.
Now, you know, anything to upset the timing, and veteran pitchers will do that. They're comfortable. They've been doing it a long time, and they'll create as they go along. He needs to create against Nelson Cruz here. 3-2. Seager to follow. He throws him that big slow curve down, and he swings. Let's see. Yeah, there it was. A little bit up in the middle.
Still 3-2. Waiting on deck is Seager, who has already tied the game with a home run. So if Cruz gets on, Seager comes to the plate representing the tying run, and he's one of the hottest hitters in the American League right now.
Hey, if you throw him that curve, better be down. There it was.
So it's Seager and Soria. Final game of the series is tomorrow. Mike Montgomery, the former Royals farmhand, will start for Seattle. Ned Yost said if he didn't have to use Dylan G today, that will be his starting pitcher. But G is his long man out there, so he didn't want to commit. Speaking with the media earlier today, so we expect to see G and Montgomery. Coverage begins tomorrow at 12:30 with Hy-Vee Royals Live. Fastball at 93. With a 3-run home run today, Seager has a 12-game hitting streak. But more impressive is 9 straight games with at least 1 extra base hit. Soria really tied him up there. And that, by the way, is the 3rd longest streak in Mariners history. He'll have a chance to tie the record tomorrow. Ken Griffey Jr., who's going into the Hall of Fame as a Mariner later this month. He had a 10-game streak back in 1993. 0-2.
Keep it down. Great pitch there. 0-2. That's what you want. Now checking out Seager's bat. You know, that bat looks like it hasn't been. I mean, it's been used a lot, and you can tell by the grains. They're all lined up. He's got handle, but see all those marks there. That's all from contact, and mainly in the sweet spot. And that bat's been used a lot. It's cupped at the end. They haul that end out to make the top of the bat not so heavy. Balances it out. He's not a kind of hitter that's going to jam himself and break a lot of bats.
Up the middle, and a base hit into right center. Cruz will make the turn. First and third with one out. Another hit for Seager down in the count today.
He was looking to do that. He wasn't trying to hit a homer. You could tell. He could just put the ball in play. That ball was up and away, and it was out of the zone. But it was well placed.
The Royals had shifted over to the right against Seager. But if they're at that depth right there, which is normal double play depth, it might have been an inning-ending double play.
Yeah, they took a chance, thinking he was going to pull.
Franklin Gutierrez is just 1 for 8 against Soria, but that one hit was a home run. He came on in the 6th inning as a pinch hitter for the designated hitter Dae-Ho Lee. Lee was 0 for 2. Gutierrez is 0 for 1. Fastball by him at 92. Gutierrez is just 1 for his last 16.
Perfect lane ball candidate. See if he can. Soria can get him to hit the top of the ball and pull it somewhere at Escobar or Cuthbert.
Oh, and 2. Close games between the Royals and the Mariners. Royals took game 1 in walk-off fashion on Thursday night, 4-3. Seattle came back and won last night 3-2, and now here we are 5-3 in the top of the 8th inning. To first, got him! Salvador Perez guns down Kyle Seager at first base. The Mariners will take a look at it, but Seager had no argument at all. He got up immediately and started jogging back to the dugout.
Yeah, that's a mental mistake by Seager for sure. His run over there at first base is the tying run, but he's got to be aware of Salvi, who put that ball right on the mark. That's the only chance they get. Look at how quick the transfer is. Drops to the left knee, goes right from his ear, puts the ball right on the back for Haas to put that tag on him. And they're going to replay it. We'll see.
Well, the Mariners are going to ask for an umpire review. They burned their challenge back in the 4th inning. Now, umpires are not going to deny a request this late in the game. I don't know if they have since we have come up with this format, but the protocol usually is the manager goes out and talks to the crew chief and asks the umpires if they'll review. But Scott Service just treated that like a normal challenge. He just stepped out, put his hands over his ears, and the umpires comply with that request.
Well, the umpires want to get the call right. That's why you're seeing these guys go with it more often. You don't have to ask them because they want to get the call right, and they're staying with it. He's out. Great pickoff by Salvador Perez. '18th career pickoff for Salvador Perez. Impressive. You got to know if you're a runner anywhere on any of those bases of him and your secondary leads.
They're chanting his name. 30,659 here today.
What a huge pickup for his pitcher Soria.
Curveball misses up and into Gutierrez. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So Cruz is at third with 2 down. Gutierrez a moment ago represented the go-ahead run. Now he represents the tying run. Lined foul off the right field line. Did not come close to the target that Perez gave Joakim Soria. Soria or Salvador Perez rather, was really overemphasizing pitch down. Had a play. Edinson Volquez went 6. He allowed 3. Luke Hochevar worked around a single and a walk in the 7th. And now Soria is trying to work around a single and a walk in the 8th. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Adam Lind is on deck. And Adam Lind has some power. In the air to center field. Paulo Orlando takes care of it. And the Mariners, thanks to Salvador Perez, 18th career pickoff. The Mariners are scoreless in the top of the 8th.
Oh, was that sweet. Salvador Perez with a bat in his hand and the ball in his hand. He's dangerous. Just like we promised you earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. The 3 rookies that are filling in for injured Royals regulars have done a marvelous job. Today, we were asking for somebody, an offensive player, please step up. And look who did it. The 3 newest players. Trustworthy and extremely hot right now today. Getting the job done. Fantastic. There you go, fellas.
Brett Eibner leads off. 1 for 2 with a double and 2 runs scored. Whit Merrifield 2 for 4 with an RBI double, and Cheslor Cuthbert 2 hits, 1 of those a double, 2 driven in. Eibner 0-2 against Vidal Nuno. Took over in the 7th inning with 1 out and gave up the home run to Salvador Perez, turning a 4-3 game into a 5-3 game. Still 0-2. So Herrera will get the lower third of the Mariners order. Lind, Iannetta, and Marte, as Joakim Soria was able to navigate through the middle of the Mariners lineup. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Eibner. You noticed earlier he got a haircut.
Yeah, he's tightened it up. I mean, he didn't just get it trimmed. They lopped off 4 or 5 inches of that hair he had going on. That's a good idea. He got hot all of a sudden with it.
The ladies loved his hair in Kansas City.
Oh, wow. I think it's more about production. Being a big leaguer first time through is his focus. Plenty of time for that other. This is his bread and butter. He's looking for a cookie from Nuno here, down 1-2. No, that's not the one. Good breaker. Nuno, he'll tease you with the slider. He's got a good changeup too. He likes to use on right-handers.
Up to Seager. 1 away. Today's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals. They may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Club. Ryan Lefevre with Rex Hudler and Joel Goldberg, Jeff Montgomery, producer Brian Shapiro, director Steve Kurtenbach, associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, and Dave Holtzman. Shallow center field. That's a base hit for Escobar and his second hit of the day. He's already extended that career best 25 games reaching base, which is also the longest active streak in all the big leagues.
Came in on him, but he was able to focus middle of the field, not trying to pull it. That's the reason why he's been so good. He's got that home run taken care of. He took care of that a few weeks ago. And now he can go back to being Escobar, and that's using the whole field.
One on, one out for Chesler Cuthbert. Changeup, and he was out in front. Chesler's driven in 2 today. 2-out RBI double in the second inning, and came around to score on Merrifield's double, and then he put the Royals in front 4-3 with a single in the 6th. Another changeup, and it's 0-2.
Vidal Nuno, he sells that changeup great. He has a deceptive delivery where when he comes out on release point, his head and everything jerks hard to the left, and it's deceptive. Here comes that changeup. It looks like he's going to throw it harder than it is. He stayed with it again.
Iannetta looking in to see if the dugout wants Nuno to throw over to first or pitch out. Back door. And Nuno got Cuthbert with a slider. Two down. Two-hit Witt has that again today, a first inning single and an RBI double. Filling in left field and leading off. Ned Yost giving Alex Gordon a physical and a mental break today. And the Mariners were starting a lefty in Wade Miley. Up the middle, off of Nuno, and a flip to second. Marte to Cano will end the bottom of the 8th inning. 5-3 Royals to the top of the 9th. Right by him in 97. Another one. Mariners coming up in the top of the 9th inning. Chesler Cuthbert is driven in 2 for the Royals. Salvador Perez put the Royals in front 5-3 with his home run in the 7th. He has homered in back-to-back games. And it'll be Kelvin Herrera in the top of the 9th to face Adam Lynn, Chris Iannetta, and Ketel Marte. And if Herrera gets the job done, we'll have Boulevard Royals live with Joel and Monty. Joel and Monty will be talking about the rookie contributions so far today, I'm sure. Look at that. Last save for Kelvin Herrera is over 3 seasons ago.
Yep. He has the pitches. He's got the power in that fastball at 98. Been bringing in a slider this year and a changeup at 88. 89.
Fastball at 98 for a strike to Lynn. I've always thought it was unfair when a setup man, or nowadays the setup to the setup man, and you look at their save percentage. Popped up. Cuthbert and Perez. Salvi says, you go right ahead and take it, young man. I always thought it was unfair when you looked at saves for the 7th inning guy or the 8th inning guy, because if you think about it, all they can get is a blown save, right? Because they're not going to save the game. You're not going to get a save in the 7th. You're not going to get a save in the 8th, but you can get a blown save. So you look at someone like Herrera or Hochevar, and their save percentage isn't very good. Well, they don't get the opportunity to even that out. And so the stat you look at for them is hold. How many holds do they have? Sean O'Malley, a switch hitter, is going to bat for Iannetta. And Herrera takes, or O'Malley takes high, 1 ball and no strikes.
So then, you know, you wait your turn for that opportunity to become the closer. Sometimes it doesn't stop with that team. It could be with another one, but Herrera's been excellent. And O'Malley likes to bunt. We know that. He bunted with 2 strikes the other night, but it's tough to bunt 98. You know, when you have that fastball at 98 and then 88, that 10-mile-an-hour difference is huge, especially since you have to sit on that fastball. But then now he's incorporated the slider, and the slider is now a different look. First time through this year with everybody, they know that he uses it, but right now he's just staying with it. There's the difference in velocity, and all about keeping the hitter off balance.
To the line in left field. Merrifield is there. 2 down in the 9th. $30,659. They're going to get a full day and night at Kauffman Stadium with Faith and Family Day. Casting Crowns will be performing after the game. Fans will hear testimonies from Luke Hochaber and Ian Kennedy. So hoping to start things off right with a win. And Kelvin Herrera's 1 out away. Strike to Marte. He has 2 hits today.
First time Marte's ever faced Herrera.
In case you're wondering, Cleveland and New York are tied at 6 in the top of the 8th in Cleveland. On the ground to Cologne. And the Royals take a 2-games-to-1 advantage in this series. Big game for the rookies. Chesler Cuthbert drove in 2 and scored a run. Brett Eibner scored twice. The veteran Salvador Perez homered for a 2nd straight game. And big high five with Gerard Dyson. And a good day on the mound for the Royals. Edinson Volquez, Luke Hochaber, Joakim Soria, and Kelvin Herrera hold the Mariners to 3 runs over 9 innings.
Yeah, it was good. It all started on the mound. Volke did his job getting out of that 1st inning. The KCW up there is a beautiful thing. Now they got a chance to get 3 out of 4 tomorrow. Ed Yost pleased. Salvador Perez pickoff was huge for Soria. That really picked him up, man, I'll tell you. And then Salvi's bat hits one off the foul pole. Fantastic job, Herrera. Easily got his first save since 2013. Way to go.
Edinson Volquez remains perfect against Seattle. He is 5-0 in his career against the Mariners. And the Royals, against a pitcher who's given them trouble in the past, did well against Wade Miley. They got 4 runs against him on 10 hits and 5 1/3. Let's go down to the field. Here's Joel.
Well, Ryan, you talked about all the contributions of the rookies, and one of them was Chesler Cuthbert, 2 RBI and a run scored out there today. These are all your good buddies, you know, guys like Eibner and Merrifield, Orlando, that have played together for so long. So how great is it to all be here contributing together?
Well, it's really fun, to be here around all the guys that have been playing around in minor league, and to have a game like today is really fun.
He didn't see it coming. Good job, Salvi. You're supposed to know that by now. Still a rookie. Okay, it's cold, huh?
It's too cold today.
Too cold today, he says. Okay, tell me about facing Wade Miley and how difficult that is. That's it. It's Salvi's show. We do what he says. Wade Miley is a lefty that's been very tough on the Royals, but you were able to do okay against him. What was your approach?
I just went looking for good pitches, and also I didn't try to do too much, so I just tried to put the ball in play, so I had a good result off that.
How about the pitching performance today of Edinson Volquez and the bullpen too?
Yeah, Edison did a great job today, and the bullpen being really good for us. So something that going to help us win more games.
Last thing for anyone in the crowd or watching at home that doesn't know, this guy never stops smiling, ever. His teammates love him for it. So for everyone watching, and they'll give you the applause for that. Youngest guy on the team, how much fun are you having?
Having a lot of fun. Also playing in front of all these fans, make me motivate more to play hard every day and be a Royal forever.
The pride of Corn Island, Nicaragua, Chesler Cuthbert, great job today.
Oh, thank you.
Chesler Cuthbert, what a day.
Sure. Sure was. So good that he got 2 Salvi splashes.
Oh, that's a bonus. You get 1, that's an honor. The second, that's a bonus in yellow.